People in this country, they regard the miners as the vanguard of the trade union movement. But if they look on it as us being the tip of a spear, without the rest of the spear behind us, we're no good. We've got to have the whole of the trade union movement behind us, the same as we did in '74. Then we can beat them.
Last night at a rally in Sheffield, the engineers pledged their solidarity, along with the transport workers, in any action that we wish to take. And they've already intimated that they will cut off any supplies of fuel that are going to power stations or to any other major employers in this nation. So I am satisfied that there will be a complete support from other trade unions.
After the miners had won in early '72, it was followed by a victory for the dockers who were put into jail, and the whole of the industrial relations legislation was scrapped. I think Teddy Heath used the phrase that it's been put in cold storage.
And we're going to get 5 comrades out of that concentration camp.
The lessons were that you could win by action of the kind that we had in '72 and '74. Most people thought that it was impossible when we started the '72 strike. There's a lot of mythology about it now. People tend to think that we were on a winning streak right from day one. We were not. The strike was into its 5th week before even the clever newspapers with their sort of in-depth articles were beginning to give the merest insight of a possible draw in the final outcome. So '72 and '74 showed that by solidarity we could win.
The lads have been collecting now, I'd say about
7 weeks.
8 weeks, 7 weeks, the 50 pence a man. And to be quite honest with you, but it's overwhelming. The lads have agreed on this occasion because of the what's going on in the villages and in the communities, where lads are, and the families, and good bloody people and all, by the way, are being left to live on, in some occasions, not outside of the single man, which is hard enough, but kids and etc. are down to about, as a figure, about £15 or £16 a week to live on. On this occasion, the lads said, well, get some of the hard stuff for them, some of the rations and, you know, and food stuff, so that's what we've done.
The Coal Board and the government together believe that if they can smash or if they can inflict damage upon the NUM, then they believe that they can take on the rest of the trade union movement in a much more formidable fashion. So the whole thing is interlinked with the Pryor Bill and the Tebbit Bill to curb trade union activity, with the fines and everything else that are concerned with secondary action. And the government are also involved in shifting the balance of power. They were elected to shift the balance of power away from working class people and the families towards the employing class and to the people that provide the Tory party with its £10 million or whatever it needs to fight an election.
The Coal Board have been backed by the Tory government, the CBI and the Institute of Directors. We've just been informed that 2 injunctions have been served against the National Union of Mineworkers to stop the action that we're now undertaking. Well, you scribes have got your pens ready. As far as I'm concerned, they can stuff their injunctions.
We will carry out what our forefathers have carried out in past years, and that is to go lawfully about our business and asking for support from other unions, which we have inherited. And it's not a thing that is it has been passed down to us from our forefathers, who naturally fought for it, and there's no way we're going to give up.
If they phoned us tomorrow, we'd go. Second picketing or no second picketing. We gotta go. It's our jobs. It's our life. They made these laws to suit themselves and nobody else. Nobody else.
Just trying to
force the miners through the children and wives back to work, you know, to no work, by the way, because there'll be no work for them to go to. That's why the dispute is on at this moment in time. And they're trying to force them through the bellies of the children, which is a disgrace in this time and day and age.
And this is what's in store for the rest of the working class if they crush the miners. You know, that we've got problems on the docks, and we know for a fact that we were set up to be taken on by the government. And the only reason they're not provoking us at the moment with the attacks on the National Dock Labour Scheme and so on is that they want to deal to the miners first. If they crush the trade unions, that are the backbone of the working class, and they'll cut social security payments and really drive the working class, well, she herself says, back into the Victorian days.
No more beans, we said. No more beans. We can't stand beans.
The Mersey's Ox has knocked back over 75,000 tonne of imported coal since the day the strike started. And that's all we can. Well, that's all we, at the moment, that's all we can do. Only wish we could do more.
Many coal is imported by ship into this country. It will not be discharged by registered dock workers. And any dock worker who loses a day's pay, every dock worker in this country, immediately withdraw labour. That's a national agreement. It's a national policy.
Thanks very much, Dennis, for all the food and the donations. Without this, we can't win. But with it, we lick them.
Well, it's a pity we couldn't give you a bit more support of what you need. It's a pity we can't give you the amount of money that McGregor's company's given to the Tory government.
Thanks very much, Dennis.
I like that.
What are you gonna transport when there's no pits? You know, that's more than 70% of your livelihood, carrying coal.
Well, genuine trade unionists wouldn't cross a picket line. I mean, you know, that's all there is. A genuine trade unionist wouldn't even approach a picket line. The bloke who's in charge of the power workers, Frank Chappell, he slated the miners not long ago in the national press, as did Terry Duffy, the UW bloke. You know, that sort of thing wouldn't do with it. You know, when you get leaders of big trade unions coming out and slating miners for trying to protect their jobs, and I think it's disgusting, to be honest with you. People are coming to us, definitely, you know. I'm talking the normal run-of-the-mill people who's a lot of the unemployed, people who's got no vested interest at all, actually, you know, but they still come because they feel that, you know, they want to contribute something towards the fight. I mean, they'll put up in the houses and sometimes feed with this and that, you know, it's really, no, fantastic.
In situations like this location where we're speaking from at the moment, which is Glasson Dock, it's an unregistered port. There are no dock workers here as such. There's a couple of small cranes working unloading small capacity ships of something like 1,000 tonne that can't handle any kind of input of coal to make this strike more ineffective. But what it can do is work as a propaganda exercise as far as the government's concerned, to show that coal is still coming in, although the mighty Transport General Workers Union, as they like to call it, can't do anything about it. But what we have managed to do, the people that are carrying coal and are dedicated Transport and General Workers Union members haven't returned after we've spoke to them. We don't see it as the miners' dispute, because every job that's lost in the mine doesn't mean that one miner has lost a job. What in fact it means, there's a spin-off of probably another 2 or 3 jobs. And
I think the argument the miners started with the pit closures, and it's really developing into a union dispute between the government and the whole trade union movement.
We've got a long history of association with the NUM, not just in that we're glad to reciprocate the support that they've given us over the years, in particular last year, but there's not a ward in any hospital in Glasgow in particular that hasn't got miners suffering from various mine-related coal mining diseases. And it's a long relationship built up over a long number of years, and we're all very proud to be in support of the NUM today.
Railway workshops, when they were there, thrived and needed communities to survive. The British Railways Board and the government now, at near enough a stroke, have got rid of the railway workshops. And that's what will happen if the colliery closures come out in the coalfields in Britain. Not only will collieries die, whole communities that depend on that way of life will also be sent to the wharves. We are now talking about a triple alliance that is something fundamentally different from a worthless bit of paper that the previous General Secretary of the National Union of Railmen, give me a few minutes, I might be able to think of his name, and Lord Gormley and Mr. Sirs, and we're hearing what he's saying now about his views about the Triple Alliance, and you can draw your own conclusions about that. The days have altered since that time.
It's great to see the solidarity in the trade union movement starting to build up. What I would like to see, and what I hope would happen, is that whilst the dispute gets more and more bitter, which it undoubtedly will, as the army is fetched in, we would hope that other trade unions would vote the same as us with our feet.
You see the miners' dispute as being perhaps the last chance for the British working class to defend itself against the absolute blitz on jobs and on social conditions in this country. And indeed, I think the whole thing will have to be escalated. And I would like to see, listening to what Michael McGacky's been saying today, I would like to see that followed up. I think the call should go out for the miners fairly soon, for the whole of British industry, maybe to take a day off and picket the power stations and the various other areas that conflicts are arising around. We'll see whether the police state can cope with that.
No, any trade unionist can turn around and say, I'm going to leave another trade unionist out till Christmas getting nothing at all. The kids will have no shoes on their feet before Christmas, and this tax will be made up with them walking through the snow with no shoes on. Bits of paper they'll have around their feet for them kids, and she'll be sitting there gloating.
In 1926, comrades, our union saw betrayal in the labour and trade union movement. The lessons, I hope, have been learned, and the decision by the Transport Workers Union, the NUR and ASLEF, and the Seamen's Union, who've currently got blockaded 28 ships, is a testament to trade union solidarity and support. We can win this dispute, but above all else we need the loyalty and understanding of the wider labour and trade union movement.